Hey y'all, today we're going to be doing a number of what I call mini garden chores. I'm going to be working outside doing just kind of tiny little projects. Projects that aren't big enough to take up their own video, but then I need like 5 of them to fit in one video. So we're going to go through and show you some of those. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know when my latest videos are up, and make sure you drop me a comment below. What is your favorite and least favorite miniature garden chore? Okay, first things first, we are going to cut back all of these sunflowers to reveal some Tithonia Mexican sunflower and some amaranthus that are growing beneath them. These sunflowers are all bloomed out, all done. I've left them up for quite a while so that the pollinators can enjoy them, but it's time to get them out. So let's get that done. All I'm going to do is be cutting the stem directly at the base of the ground. Okay, so basically what I'm doing is I'm just cutting at the base. I'm leaving all of the roots and such in there. And I know that there's like a proper term for what that's actually called when you just cut it at the base and leave the roots in. I don't know what it is, but if you do know, please let me know. Please drop me a comment below. But I wanted to clear out this area because you can see the amaranthus that is being revealed. And then this right here, this guy right here is a Tithonia Mexican sunflower. Okay, and then also while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and thin out the Mexican sunflower because I've got some where 3 have come up in one place. And I'm basically just going to remove to leave the strongest of the plant. So now I've got 4 here. I've also got quite a bit of amaranthus coming up. So also once again, I'm going to remove some of these lower amaranthus that are kind of smaller and more scraggly. And I'm going to leave the strongest behind. Okay, I think that area looks nice. You can see these are the Tithonia Mexican sunflower. These are an orange bloom. So I've got 4 of those plants coming up. Got some amaranthus coming up right here. It's looking a little leggy. I think that's because it was trying to grow beneath the sunflowers. So ordinarily I would go ahead and cut it back at this point and allow it to continue branching. But I'm going to give it a few days of some strong sun. See if I can't get it, to straighten up and be taller. Lisianthus isn't looking awesome. I think it was overly shaded as well. I will say I have this volunteer celosia that is just stunning. Looks absolutely beautiful. But we're going to shift over here to the snapdragons that I've got underneath the shade tarp. And since I put up the shade, all my snapdragons have started blooming again, which is fabulous. But I'm gonna actually go through and cut back all of the blooms, just give them a nice fresh start and get a nice flush of new blooms started. So let's go ahead and get those trimmed back and pruned back. When I cut a snapdragon, I'm gonna cut as far down to the base as I can for the flower. Okay, got that cleaned up. Trim back any of the snapdragons that weren't looking as great. I actually ended up pulling out several. That's called a day and night snapdragon that I'm not actually a big fan of, and they look like they were getting the beginning signs of spider mite, so I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna pull those out. And then I did a little bit of trimming and clipping off all the deck blooms on the Lisianthus just to keep them blooming. I don't want them going to seed quite yet. Okay, over here I have replanted cucumber vines for the fall, and it is time to start working them, training them to go upwards. And so I'm using these little clips that I get from the Dollar Tree each gardening season. And so what I'm going to do is start taking the vines, unravel them a little bit, and start laying them out on the trellis to start teaching them to work their way over. And then while I'm over here, just to show you, I continually come over and start working my lantana over the side since it's getting pretty long. That looks good. Here's some more lantana that you can see that it's spreading this way. So basically I like to come in and redirect the plant. You can use some stakes, you can tie it off to make it go this way. I found that over time, if I just come in here and move it, it eventually is long enough just to stay over the side. Loving the lantana. Gorgeous. I've got another couple of cucumbers right here, so let me get those secured up too. And this is a Hypericum Berry right here. I'm just going to be giving it a little trim across the top, no more than about 4 to 6 inches down. It's not looking really attractive. It's struggling with the heat and it has a lot of burn on it. I also need to treat it with some iron because it definitely has sclerosis. But just want to go ahead and trim out some of this just to give it a little bit of a break because it's working really hard trying to keep these not so great areas alive. And this might just help it out a little bit. Nothing drastic, just a little bit of trimming. There's definitely new growth down in here, so this definitely feels like a good decision. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of trim on the hyacinth bean just because it gets a little wild. Sometimes it goes over into my neighbor's yard. So I like to trim it to make sure it doesn't bother them too much. Now over here you can see this lantana is not doing as great. Because originally there's a Dahlia here that was doing really good, and then all of a sudden went kaput, and I had a whole bunch of parsley going to seed over here. And so this guy was actually covered up by the sun. So I'm hoping that now that I've cleared that out, it'll be better. But what we're gonna do next is we're gonna lift up that one Dahlia bulb and see what's going on with it. Okay, this Dahlia bulb I planted a couple of seasons ago. I don't have a tag in here telling me what variety it is. It was doing really good this year, and then all of a sudden it just started struggling. So I thought, you know what? Cut it back, and I thought maybe I'll just go in and start lifting it out, see what's in there. And it wasn't going to be left here for the next season anyway, I will say. So it'll be interesting to go in and be like, this has been in here for 2 seasons. Like, how big is it? Like, what's going on? All right. Oh, it's got a lot of tubers. Wow, look at all this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do with this, y'all, is I'm actually just gonna leave it outside in the shade and allow it to dry out really well. And then I'm probably gonna store it for next season. And I'll do a video on how to go about that. But when I originally planted this, it was one little tuber, and obviously it's grown quite a bit. I don't think I'm going to divide it at this point in time. There are some tubers down in here. Feel around. There's definitely like long roots in here. Okay. I have been wanting to remove that one for a while, so I'm glad I got that done. So we'll go ahead and look at storing that root or this tuber, and I'll show you guys that at a later point in time. I don't see any signs of gall, but we'll check it out. Okay, it's literally so hot that I had to come inside and put my cell phone in the refrigerator because it was overheating. Okay, I have just a little bit more I want to get done in the backyard, and this is going to be a part 1, and then I'm going to do a part 2 of mini garden chores. My southern accent makes me sound like mini sounds like many, so anyway, sorry about that. So let me go show you guys the next portion we're going to work on. Okay, over here the willow has grown over this area some, so I'm going to trim it back just a little bit. Just so this area is just not overrun with willow branches. Doesn't take much. It's a quick little trim, and there you go. Easy peasy. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to redirect all my lantana out. This is all my lantana right here. This one doesn't have as many flowers because it doesn't get as much sun. I've also got some weeds growing in here, and I now realize they're weeds. So I'm going to go ahead and pull them. And I do back here, it's hard for y'all to see, I do have a pink diamonds dicentra back here that is eventually getting moved to a new shade garden. But I went ahead and trimmed off some blooms. I'll show you what that looks like. So I do have the twist and shout hydrangea over here, which is obviously still struggling because of the heat. Signs of drought. Anyway, it's holding on. Such an extreme year. And here's the pink diamonds, Dicentra over here. It's usually kind of this light lacy color. Obviously it's having a hard time because of the heat, but I trimmed back all the blooms, and then this guy is gonna get moved over to a shade garden once I have that together. The plan was to originally work on it during the July and August, and it was gonna go right back way over there on the side. But with the heat, just haven't gotten to it. It's too dangerous to do that kind of really hard work out here for me. Okay, over here, I'm gonna be removing this Dara plant right here. I usually remove all my Dara plants except for one or two, and then allow those to go to seed. So what I'm also gonna do is give them a good shake and any of the dried seeds to fall to the ground. This used to be, all of this was filled with the Dara or Ami. I get confused on all that. All right, I'm also gonna pull up a few, or I'm gonna cut at the base a few of these zinnias that are over here, because I'm actually coming through with seedlings in a few days. And these zinnias have fallen over. They're kind of awkward anyway. You can see like this whole zinnia thing has fallen over. Might try to go get a stake. Let me see if I can stake that up. And I need a stake over here because I have a Maximilian sunflower that needs to be staked up as well. Okay, I'm just gonna start with, these are actually some vintage candle holders, iron candle holders that I got from a vintage market one time. So I'm basically just gonna start with one of those for the zinnias. And I'm just gonna come in with one of those same clips that I got from the Dollar Tree. Clip that into place. These zinnias will have, some of these will have a hard time resituating themselves. So I'm gonna leave the white one because I don't have a lot of white zinnias this year, but I'm gonna cut out some of these other ones because I've got tons of the purple prints. And maybe I'll just resituate it. Like I know I'm curving this, but maybe I'll just resituate it. We'll just start like that for that one. I'm going to use just one of these smaller green stakes. And it has like a little hook at the top. And basically put it in, you just hook your plant through it. You know, it's really, really good. I'm going to go ahead and pull up this Liatris because that was a plan at one point. Anyway, it has already actually been moved. All the other ones used to be a bunch back here and they all got moved. Every once in a while, so I'll have some come up. So go ahead and move that out. And one last thing, I'm deadheading some of these roses. This is the America climbing rose. Basically, I'm looking at the spent blooms and I'm going down until I see a leaf come off that has 5 leaves. Typically, you'll see a 3s and 5s. So I'm going to cut directly above the set of leaves that has 5 leaves. And that will keep fresh growth coming to the plant. Fresh blooms. Okay. That's good. Okay. Whew. So you can see what I'm talking about. There's so many little tiny things that need to be done in a garden, right? And they're things that we do on a daily or weekly basis. And, you know, a lot of times I don't cover those because I don't have to do like a lot of it, right? It's like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 5 minutes, something simple, right? And so I want to just do a series of videos that just show the little things that I'm doing in my garden on a daily basis, walking through. So this is me walking through the backyard, working on some of these areas where I just need to do some pruning, some trimming, some removing, some securing things up, and just several different small things. So I hope you guys enjoy this little kind of walk along with me while I'm doing my garden chores. There will be a part 2 coming up as well. As always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.